Dave is patching a big hole in the garage floor. Apparently, Moon found a soft spot in the cement and decided that was a good place to bury his bones.
Now stop annoying your father. You had no right to dig up my floor to bury your bones. This garage happens to be my boudoir. You really want something to do? Wait for the mailman. You're in luck. Here he comes. That nosy body.
How nosy is he? Let's find out.
Finance company, you're behind in your payments. I know the notice form. Yeah, from your sister in Detroit.
I wonder how she is.
Her back's bothering her. Your monthly check from the insurance company. Boy, your mother sure left you a bundle.
$100 a month is not a bundle, Mr. Kurt.
Yeah, but think how many years it's been. When my mother passed away, all she left for me were debts.
He can't stop carrying on about it because he wishes he had something like that, and dude, get over yourself. Byron Folger was really good at playing this type of character. We saw him in the time tunnel. He was the storekeeper who wanted to collaborate with the aliens who were stealing all of Earth's protein. At least he finally lost the mustache. That thing looks like he took a piece of frayed rope and glued it to his lip. And by the way, this character is going to be just as irritating and dislikable as that one was.
$100 a month and he keeps an old junk heap like this.
That ought to make Mom nice and comfortable. She won't be complaining now. It should be nice and comfortable in here now. No more complaining. Back solid. Yeah. That ought to make Mom nice and comfortable in here.
Guess what Mr. Crute thinks is under there?
He's in there. And remember, I get the reward, Ralph. Kroot, K-R-O-O-T, Kroot.
So far, there's no reward and there's no crime either.
Who does he think is posting a reward? But we can already see that Kroot isn't interested in justice or solving a crime or anything else. He wants attention. But he's not going to get it from our Keystone Cop friends there.
That dog knows something.
Yeah, he knows one of his bones is still buried there. But just to be sure, you better take him down to the station and interrogate him.
Excuse me. Did I startle you?
No, not at all. Come on in.
Keever's the name, my assistant.
Sergeant Riddle.
Well, what can I do for you?
That's a mighty curious dog you've got there, Mr. Crabtree.
Moon, would you get out here? Go on.
Boy. Come here, boy. Huh? You want a candy? Huh? Now, you're a smart dog, Moon. Why would you be wanting to know what's underneath all that wet cement, huh?
He knows what's under it. He wants to eat it. As we saw, Barney Fife Jr. is measuring the hole, and it's roughly human size.
Patching up some cracks there in the floor. What can I do for you, Lieutenant?
5.5 by 3.
A few cracks, Mr. Crabtree?
Yeah.
5.5 feet by 3 feet?
Yeah, is there anything wrong with that?
How many are in your family?
My family? What's that got?
How many are there?
My wife, 2 kids, and my mother.
Uh-oh.
Your mother?
No, I don't mean my mother. She passed away about 10 years ago.
Then why did he mention her? He also had a brain fart and claimed her on his taxes, so next he's getting a visit from the IRS. They want to know why he claimed her this year, but not the previous 9 years.
I can tell you why. Because he's been getting $100 a month from his mother's insurance policy. I notified the insurance company. Yes, sir. Ralph Kroot, United States Post Office.
Those guys should be asking Kroot how he knows this, because snooping in people's mail, even if you're the one carrying it, is a federal offense. You want a nice fat crime to sink your teeth into? There you go. Arrest him, convict him, and a judge can sentence him to grow his mustache back. And thanks to him, here come the insurance investigators.
Caldwell, insurance fraud investigator.
Harris,
IFI.
Stanley, Internal Revenue.
Mark, how are you? Glad to see
Kroot,
you.
U.S. Mail.
Grab your partners and do-si-do. All join hands and around we go.
All
Ladies,
right, Crabtree. Skip the wisecracks.
Why? You guys really need to take a look at yourselves. While they're running around like a gaggle of geese, Moon has been busy.
Dug up the garage.
Garage? Let's get in there.
That's obviously a barbecued beef rib. Dave buried it in the cement and Moon rescued it. Our collection of intellectuals is scouring through the wet cement looking for more.
Human?
Without question.
I bought that bone for my dog at Joe's Meat Market.
Part of a tibia with an expanded epiphysis.
No, that's the kind he likes.
Now, you can see right here. It's completely articulated with the astragalus.
It's a rib bone from a cow, and the marks you're seeing are dog teeth marks. I hope that's what all those big words mean.
What's going on here? And who are all these people?
Shall we not go through that again?
You won't believe
Be
it.
the lovely Mrs. Crabtree.
Oh, thank you. Dave, who is this nice gentleman?
Lieutenant
Would you
Mickey,
please not step on the cracks, please, Lieutenant?
step on the crack and break your mother's back?
Really? What legal book did you get that out of? The insurance guy says, enough talk, let's start digging. Dave says, you're not touching anything without a search warrant, and chases everybody out. That took long enough. And he should send Crude out with a good swift kick where it'd do the most good.
The heck with a search warrant. Let's dig it up now.
The law's the law, Mr. Crute. Obey it.
But if he did it, what difference does it make?
I gotta get him.
Now, hold it. You strike a postman in uniform, and that's a federal offense.
It'd be worth it.
In a scene I didn't show, we learned that he's even more afraid of dogs than he is of Dave. So let Moon handle this one, way more gratifying. But oddly enough, Crute could be the key to Dave getting out of this whole thing.
Who needs a search warrant?
The police do, because there's this thing called chain of evidence. When a piece of evidence is uncovered, they have to take extra special steps to make sure it stays untainted and there's no question about its validity.
Ralph Crute, first to find the body. They'll make me a postal investigator.
What they'll make him is a defendant charged with tampering with evidence. That sort of thing never happens in these shows, and I'm of the opinion that it should. Crute is the cause of all this waste of time and resources, and he won't face any real consequences. I do find that irritating. Well done, Crute. Even assuming there is a body under there, you have now tainted the crime scene to the point where nothing you or the police find will be admissible in court because it was attained illegally.
Is that you, son? David? David?
Oh, give me a break. He has the light on and she's looking right at him. She should be able to see who it is without any problems. You want to find a way to get her to talk to him, fine. But at least try to make it believable.
Crude! What are you doing in my son's garage?
Dave isn't too concerned when she tells him what Crute was doing, but she thinks he should be.
The investigators will be here in the morning and they'll find an open cavity.
So what?
Well, they'll think you dug me up and hid me somewhere else. You've got to re-cement the floor.
No, what he needs to do is call the police and report Crute as a trespasser and vandal, get those detectives out there, explain to them that any evidence under that floor has now been tainted and they can't use it, so go away and leave him alone permanently. It's pretty bad when I can cite the laws better than the lawyer can. But of course, Dave won't do either one. Let the stupid begin.
Sorry, but I don't know.
Where did you hide the body?
I don't know what you're talking
You
about.
collected $100 a month from us for 10 years.
That's larceny.
No,
Took
no.
a deceased person as a dependent. That's fraud.
Each item ties in with the other, and that's murder.
Yes. No.
For 10 years, you collected $100 a month from the insurance company. And then suddenly, you became frightened that you might be discovered.
You therefore plan to dispose of your mother, and psychologically your subconscious burst through the conscious, causing you to take your mother as a dependent.
Unfortunately for you, the mailman heard you addressing yourself to your departed parent as you buried her in the garage.
Total aberration.
Paranoid syndrome.
What's the score?
No hits.
No runs?
3 errors.
It's easy to have a score like that when only one team gets to bat. He says, okay, I'll talk. They say, start 10 years ago when you decided to cheat the insurance company.
Well, I remember 10 years ago when my mother passed away.
No, son, that's when you pretended she passed away.
Yeah, remember the $100 a month?
It was 10 years ago I got my first check for $100.
Right.
When my mother passed away.
Wrong.
You remember she was alive.
I remember.
Well, go on.
She was alive and then she got sick.
Yesterday.
No, 10 years ago.
No!
Pro tip, guys, don't ask a question if you're just going to argue with the answer. Also, if you want him to talk, stop interrupting him. We're doing this in his garage, so after the second interruption, I would have chased all you clowns out anyway. They complain that he's confusing them, poor babies.
She was alive yesterday.
Hey, who?
Your mother. She's still alive. She spoke to me last night.
Hold that! Lieutenant, there goes your murder charge.
But that means the insurance fraud charge might be valid.
If she's alive, you've been collecting checks you're not entitled to.
I didn't say she was alive. Crute did.
I heard her. Yes, sir.
They're going to love Crute's story. Dave is worried, but Mom says all we have to do is discredit his story. She has an idea how to do that.
Well, gentlemen, have you reached a verdict?
Larceny, Crabtree. I think we got you on grand larceny, open and shut.
You're not too happy with that, are you, Hanley? I mean, you'd like to get me on income tax fraud.
Among other things. There's a little charge called suspicion of murder, you know.
And it all depends on Mr. Crute's testimony.
You darn right. I heard your mother talking last night.
Dave says, here's the deal. I'll tell everything to Crute in the garage. The rest of you knotheads stay out here. They all agree.
Crute, the company will give you a reward for this.
That's fine. I deserve a reward.
Inside, he says, Crute, you got me out of a murder charge. You saved my life. To show my gratitude, I want you to meet my mother.
How do you do, Mr. Crute?
Pleased to meet you, ma'am.
You're looking very well, Mr. Crute.
Thank you, ma'am. You look much younger than I thought. Where is she?
Right here, Mr. Crute. You're leaning on her.
Mm-hmm. I always enjoyed watching you deliver the mail every day. You were so handsome in your uniform.
The uniform, maybe. Him? Well, to each their own, I guess.
Yeah, over here, that's me. His mother, the car.
Isn't she a beauty? I know it's a shock, Mr. Crute, but my mother's a car.
I think she broke him.
Your mother? A car?
Well, not just a car, but a 1928 Porter.
That's my mom, a 1928 Porter.
Oh, it's a gag. I know it's a gag.
And why would he pull a gag right now when he's facing prison for insurance and tax fraud? Dave says it's not a ventriloquist act. He already tried that once and it bombed.
But it's impossible.
Oh, no, it's possible, Mr. Crute. And you're the only one that knows about it.
Watch this, Mr. Crute.
Crute is convinced, I think, and now he's seeing dollar signs.
No one knows but me?
Nobody.
They'll put me on television?
Coast to coast.
Huntley?
Brinkley.
And I can tell the story to the magazines.
And they'll pay you for it.
Cash, yes, I'll make them pay. I won't sell cheap, no, sir.
Of course, first he has to explain it to those guys outside and clear up all this legal stuff. No sooner said than done, he's got money to rake in.
Wait till you hear this. Just wait, 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 wait. I'd like to have a camera to show your faces when I tell you. Oh, this is my moment of triumph. Victory, victory, fame, and fortune.
Unfortunately, he talked so long he ran out of oxygen and fainted just as he was about to tell them something.
Gentlemen. Ta-ta-ta! Ta-ta-ta! Meet Crabtree's mother. Oh, I know it's a shock, but this 1928 Porter is Crabtree's mother.
He honestly thinks this is his moment of triumph. It's almost sad to watch.
All right now, first of all, my dear, I want you to meet Lieutenant McKeever. Yes, say hello to the lieutenant here. You know, pleased to meet you or something.
This is just cruel, and it couldn't happen to a more deserving guy. And I have to give Mr. Folger his props for this performance. He pulled out all the stops, and yes, it's funny.
Well, talk, Mrs. Crabtree. Come on, you old hunk of junk, talk! Well, you talked to me, you spoke. Talk, Mrs. Crabtree. Say something. Talk! Talk!
You know what the really sad part is? He actually expected her to go along with his little get-rich-quick scheme, as if she had a reason to.
Talk! You can talk! Go on, talk! Talk!
Talk! Talk! Talk! Talk! No, I'll make this talk! 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 I tell you that part, talk! It spoke to me!
And suddenly everything is forgotten. The insurance issue, tax returns, suspicion of murder. I think they've all had enough for one day. Besides, watching the crazy man is way more interesting. The epilogue is a here we go again. Dave and Mom are joking about burying bodies, and another nosy mailman calls the police, and it's unnecessary and unfunny. Kudos to every actor who was in this, especially when you get 6 or 7 guys milling around. I don't know how much rehearsal it takes for everybody to hit all their marks. They pulled it off collectively and individually, and their antics kept things busy enough to hold your interest even if it wasn't always funny. They took a script that was mediocre at best with a premise that any good cop could have disproved in about 15 seconds and made it at least watchable. Considering what the scripts for this show tend to be like, that's a major accomplishment.